Greetings, listeners. Before we begin today's episode, we wish to alert you to a few pertinent announcements. First, this will be the final episode of Season 1 for Dawn of an Era of Wellbeing, the podcast. We hope you enjoyed our program and will continue to listen when we deliver Season 2 with even more fascinating guests and topical discussion. So please stay tuned. Season 2 of Dawn of an Era of Wellbeing is coming soon. Our second announcement is to let you know that today's program is also available in video format, offering you a very rare and special opportunity to witness our guest, Master Sha, demonstrate his calligraphy on screen. If you wish to view this podcast in its video format, please visit the website for the Laszlo Institute of New Paradigm Research and click on the podcast page, where you'll find links to the video. That website is thelaszloinstitute.com. Laszlo is spelled L-A-S-Z as in zebra, L-O, and click on the podcast page. Thank you very much for your time, and now on with our show.
Who on earth are we? Why in heaven are we here? And how to make sense of this mess of our humanness and perhaps even transcend it. Welcome, everyone. From whatever nation state or emotional state you might be in, Dawn of an Era of Wellbeing is the place to tune in. We're going to deep dive into uplift with insight, and I am so excited to welcome our two formidable hosts, two-time Nobel nominee and founder of the Laszlo Institute of New Paradigm Research and the Club of Budapest, Professor Ervin Laszlo, and a fourth-generation family business entrepreneur who's the founder of ITEA Institute Quantum Leadership Center, Fred Sau. I like to start each episode by acknowledging our worldwide audience. For many of them, this is a very challenging time. For some of them, they're actually thriving. But Dawn of an Era of Wellbeing podcast and the book hopes to offer real comfort to the global community. We encourage you to not only read the book and hear the podcasts, but to feel them, to start awakening your senses to different ways of perceiving beyond just our eyes, just our ears, because this is the space that Ervin and Fred refer to as consciousness. That's our comfort zone for the long term. So before I introduce today's extraordinary guest, Dr. and Master Sha, let's begin with this, Ervin. A newborn needs loving touch in order to survive, and we as human species need a loving connection to do the same, in a sense, but we're so disconnected from self, other, and the greater that we're now almost at risk of extinction, as well as risking that of many other species. So I woke up this morning and I felt a little low energy, and lucky me that I'm in a supportive work environment, that everyone is so accommodating and understanding, but there are a lot of people that are waking up in their day somewhere on earth, going into a work environment that is so stressful and demanding. So I want to know, you are such a prolific writer and speaker and thinker and pianist. Where do you derive your connection to source? Is it through music, through playing the piano? Is it through your writing? What's the source of your connection to consciousness, given that we're all being called upon to find this now at this very dramatic turning point in time?
Well, the connection cannot be made. It must be allowed. It's something that comes. You really have to wish for it. And then you can enter on that wavelengths where Master Sha can point the way, and other great spiritual leaders. The connection that we have is spontaneous. It's always there. It's always available. But we have to call it up. We have to wish for it, and we have to allow it to emerge. It is part of our being, not as separate beings, not as something separate from the world around us and from each other, but is being part of what in science nowadays one refers to as a cosmic hologram. The entire universe as a hologram. We are part of that. And our connection is instantaneous and is permanent and it's universal. It's up to us to manifest it, to allow it, and to live with it. Then we become better persons. We can enter on that discussion later on as you like, how we become and what we become. I just want to mention that you asked for the connection. The connection is essential, especially in times of stress, crisis, and potential breakdowns. That pulls us back to who we really are, which was the question that you, Alison, started with.
Exactly. Well, on that very uplifting and encouraging note, I'm going to introduce us now to today's very special guest, Dr. and Master Sha. Now listen to this. He is a Tao Grandmaster, healer, teacher, founder of the Love, Peace, and Harmony Foundation, author of 30 books, including 11 New York Times bestsellers and several others on the bestseller lists of the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, and Amazon. He has an MD degree in Western medicine from China. He's also a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. Master Sha has combined the essence of Western medicine with ancient wisdom to create soul, mind, body medicine and Tao teachings to help humanity. He's a grandmaster of several Asian arts, and in 2002, he was named Qigong Master of the Year at the 4th World Congress on Qigong. With the creation of Tao calligraphy, he received the highest honors a Chinese calligrapher can receive, being appointed to the position of National Chinese Calligrapher Master, as well as Honorable Researcher Professor by the State Ethnic Academy of Painting in Beijing, China. Welcome, welcome. That is an illustrious introduction and much deserved, I think. So, Master Sha, I want to ask you this, as we're talking to Irvin just before, about the fact that humans need contact. Babies die without sufficient loving touch, cuddling even in their infancy. And here we are as a human species. We dance, we hold hands, we embrace, make love, as material beings, but as spiritual beings in a human form, how to make contact and kindle a kind of gentle love story with something as ephemeral as consciousness. I mean, we're so detached from our own home, our bodies, if you will, that even when we, for example, bump our elbow on the table, do we ever hold it with love and say, I'm sorry, and soothe it like a little child? I mean, it's as if we don't relate to our own body parts as living extensions of our whole, much less nation states to the global whole, much less the planet to the cosmic. So is this reconnection with your incredible calligraphy healing encouraging others to cultivate this love relationship with consciousness?
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here today. Thank you, Dr. Irvin Laszlo. I respect him from my heart. For answer your question, can you see here? Can you see? So I would like to see the Lao Tzu Tao Te Ching. I start from here. The author of Tao Te Ching, many people know Lao Tzu. All the university professors honor Lao Tzu as an ancient philosopher. Lao Tzu said Tao. This is Tao. What is Tao? Tao is the ultimate source and creator. Lao Tzu said Tao cannot be seen, cannot be heard, cannot be touched. So Tao creates this called one. Yi means oneness. Within the oneness, there are two energy. I use this one. It's called Qing Qi, Qing. Qi means energy. People know Qing means clean, light, and light energy. So another one is called Zhuo Qi. Zhuo Qi means disturbed energy. So these two energy mixed they are not separate. They stay for eons, millions, billions, trillions years. They wait for qi hua. They wait for qi hua. Hua means transformation, energy transformation. So when the qi hua came, this clean energy rises. This is to form the heaven. Qing Sheng rises. Wei Tian form the heaven. Zhuo Jiang, this is this disturbed energy go down to form the Mother Earth. So this is two. Many people know yin and yang. So the heaven is a heaven. Is a heaven called Tian. Then this disturbed energy force the Di, Mother Earth. So heaven is yang, earth is yin. We live here, heaven and Mother Earth. Millions of people are meditating. Irvin Laszlo just now explained so well, connect. So heaven is an earth, we are living in this world. Do we connect? Very important. Let me explain also further. We really need to hear Irvin Laszlo. It's ancient wisdom. We know order, connect, and harmonized. What is life challenge? Just to talk about baby, health, relationship, finances. Disorder, disconnect, and disharmony. The human has so many trouble here in this layer, so they forgot about how to connect. So because heaven and earth, let me continue a little bit more. These two, not finished yet. The two creates three. This is Lao Tzu Dao De Jing teaches Dao creation. This is how the ultimate creator created everything. Go this way. So therefore, one, heaven, earth. Then three means oneness. This is oneness, clean qi, disturbed qi. Plus heaven, earth is three. Three creates one wu. One means 10,000 in Chinese. 10,000 represent infinity. Wu, this wu means sense. The Mother Earth is one planet. There are countless planets, stars, galaxies, universes. Where's the human being? Human beings are here. They call Ren. Human beings are here. So therefore, Lao Tzu said that there are four Da. Da means greatest. Number one is source is Da. Heaven is Da. And also Mother Earth is Da. And a human being is Da also. But a very important wisdom people may not realize, I put on this side. In our Dao science, Dr. Irvin Laszlo even gave me a comment for gave it a deep appreciation. So I created Dao science with a quantum physics. 3 words: Shen. Shen includes soul, heart, and mind. So second word is qi. Qi means energy. Next word is jing. Jing means matter. So universal law. This is universal law. For example, a human being, we are 80% of liquid. Our body has energy, radiant energy. We have our mind, we have our heart, we have our soul, spirit. In quantum physics, soul is information. So therefore, Shen, Qi, Jing, beloved Einstein, these are Einstein relativities. E equals mc squared. So therefore, here energy, here matter, here speed of light. So Dr. Rulin and I, he's a physicist. We talk about the grand unification. Dr. Irvin Laszlo is here, top science. So that now, grand unification means in physics, one formula can summarize everything. Here's Shen, S. energy is chi, S plus chi, energy plus matter equals 1. So our grand unification S plus E plus M equals 1. This one is oneness field. It's Tao oneness field. Here, from here above, is called world. World means emptiness world. Cannot be seen, cannot be touched, cannot be heard, but existed. They existed. They are the ultimate creator. But we live in a heaven, earth. Here's heaven, here's earth. We live in this world. So what is most important is Shen Qi Jing. This is Shen Qi Jing. Shen, what is Irvin last explained? I will explain in the ancient ways like this. This energy here, soul, heart, mind. So therefore, and there's two kinds of information. In quantum physics, talk information, but I believe information has a positive. Soul is information, or message. Millions of people believe this. Millions of people believe soul and spirit are the same thing. Soul and spirit is a soul. So there are positive love, care, compassion, generosity, kindness. So therefore, this is information. Heart is a receiver of information. When you give love, you talk a baby crying, mother give the darling, feel good, loving, and also people feel sad, give people healing, give people a loving. People can feel love. Heart is a receiver. Okay, I receive the love messages. Mind is a processor. Mind, millions of people are meditation. Mind over matter, mindfulness. People talk about positive thinking and positive words, but it's mind over matter. Mind over matter, millions of people are here, and I feel great, but I feel not enough. Next step is soul over matter. Our beloved spirit is the final boss. So energy is a mover. And meditation guide energy flow. The energy flow, blood here, blood transformer. So this is the information system. Message at the soul level, heart receiver, mind processor, energy mover, blood transformer. But the people may not know is there's negative information. And people angry, I'm sad, depressed, fear. So this negative information, heart also receive. Mind process the energy blood issues, inflammation, tumor, cancer, trauma, relationship, financial blockage. This is negative information. This is called information system. Good one, bring good health, relationship, finances. So negative one, trouble, sickness, relationship, financial challenges. So therefore, heaven's here, earth is here. Urban last mentioned a connection. I totally support and how deep. We are here, human being between heaven and earth. We connect. We can also, this is existence word. So this emptying the word. So, but the both word this is all positive, no such negative here. But here in the existing world has a positive, negative. The key is we connect with the positive here. We always connect with love, care, compassion, positive. Try to remove this negativity, negative. Therefore, from child to the senior, so relationship, finances, all life. Therefore, I said transform the soul and the heart first. Everything follow. Every aspect of life follow. That is a little bit sharing. Thank you.
Okay, Master Sha, this was so invigorating, what you just presented about energy and soul and mind over matter and soul over mind and this incredible as above, so below connection, a kind of a fusion that will, I would say, restore us to our fullest expression of what we were meant to be. I'm going to ask you something that's a little maybe out of left field, because recently Fred and I were talking in one of our podcasts about AI, artificial intelligence, and its incredible strides in medicine and many other industries. It's going to provide a very efficient means of working together. It can also create a couple of challenges, I think, in the process. I wanted to ask you, with the advent of technology and all that is being talked about now, even in manipulating the mind, and certain technologies that have the ability to even sort of read our minds and know our emotions. This seems to be almost the new frontier for the arms race. We're talking about such dynamic times here. Do you feel that consciousness is protected from these technologies that seem to be advancing literally into our minds and our souls, as if invasion? And I hate to use that word, but it's truly important, because it seems like baby has the keys to the Ferrari and is driving us crazy. So what do you think about that?
I'm thinking mind always remember has a positive and a negative. People may forget it's yin-yang nature. Technology, I honor technology, but focus on mind. If you focus on the positive, wonderful. But if you touch negative, you'll be affected. The anger, depression, sadness, fear, because always is both sides. So the healing, the transformation, I said earlier, is to apply the positive, to avoid the negative, to let negative go. So the highest spiritual practice is let it go. Let go this mind stuff. It's not try to stimulate the mind. Stimulate the mind is wrong in the spiritual higher wisdom. You know, the Buddha and the Heart Sutra. Buddha taught 49 years. Everybody know the Buddha and 5,500 sutras. Now even our quantum physics find out, wow, 2,005 years ago the Buddha found out, Buddha said, emptiness is material. We are the material. Emptiness also in space. But the people totally confused, cannot understand. This is material. He calls Se, one word, everything material, but a Kong, emptiness. He said the Kong is Se, Se is Kong. Millions of people still confused. But what does mean? The scientific now they found out on the high level microscope, on the space, they suddenly found the particle. Particle is a Se, a material. Second, boom, disappear. Then boom, particle again. So therefore, scientists approve Kong emptiness is matter, matter is emptiness in that highest level. So therefore, wow, people realize Buddha is not the religion, Buddha is a top scientist. 2,500 years ago, the scientists found out the emptiness is material, material is emptiness. Scientific proof for that. What I want to say, if we focus on the mind, we have a limitation. I honor all the technologies. Remember, there's a positive, negative. We should let mind go to the highest, the purest, the soul place. That's my point.
So you're saying, and I want to make sure that I'm understanding your point on behalf of our audience, because this is really key. Even though our minds are very active and very innovative now with technology, you're saying that ultimately consciousness cannot be corrupted by these sophisticated technologies that are being advanced, that are trying to even manipulate consciousness itself. Are you reassuring us of that?
I want to see what the Mother Earth's trouble. Anyway, I honor everybody, your wisdom, your knowledge. In my personal opinion, Mother Earth now, this COVID-19, natural disaster, water, fire, the final root is a human's heart are polluted. That's the key. Heart, in ancient wisdom, heart houses the mind and the soul. We should pay attention to heart. Pay attention to soul. I do not see, I already said mind over matter is great. Mind over matter is not enough. They call monkey mind. Mind is so many issues. We have to let Buddha teaching how simple. Let it go. Let it all go. If you can let all the mind go, you are in such a high level. There's no way to let all go. If you let all go, you are Buddha already. Not yet. But my point here is to understand mind over matter is great, not enough. Should go higher, at hard level, like I said, Shen, so hard mind. Mind is great, not enough. Go to hard, go to soul level. That is this is my insight. Irvin Laszlo can give us guidance also.
Indeed, Irvin, because this is very important. Do you feel, I want to ask you something, Irvin. First of all, do you know that consciousness is, let's put it this way, that consciousness is our essence. And the wisdom of the ancients has been repeating all of these great truths through the ages. Why is it, if this is such an important, almost embedded truth in our existence, why have we veered so far off course? Where did we make the wrong turn in history, in civilization, that got us to this point? It's just remarkable, isn't it? That we've strayed so far from the essence of who we are. Is it because we forgot, or because we never really experienced it sufficiently, collectively?
Alison, I have a simple answer. I've come to this, and I believe it's simple, and I hope it's also correct. We have made a mistake because we can make mistakes. Yeah. And that's because we have a higher evolved consciousness that not only perceives the world, but also interprets the world. As Master Sha said, we receive the information through the heart, we elaborate it through the mind, through the brain. And we elaborate it in different ways. A simpler organism, even a chimpanzee, an elephant, the dolphin, a whale, they have intelligence. I think everything in all living things have their own innate intelligence. But our intelligence is developed to such an extent where we can totally mistake what we perceive. If another species would do that, it would become extinct. We have all our technologies to correct these flaws, seemingly corrected. We constantly stress the system around us. We stress ourselves, misreading the world, but we're using our technologies to keep us alive. But our world is not being kept alive, as it were. We have just now discovered in the last few decades, especially the last few years, even more especially the last few weeks and months, this world is unsustainable. Our mistakes are become irreversible unless we correct them. So why do we make mistakes? We are so high evolved that we can make mistakes. Consciousness is not something that we have, it's something that we are. I think the great teaching coming from the new physics, the new quantum theory, the new quantum consciousness research, is not something separate in the world, which is consciousness. Not even, of course, even worse, it would be to believe that it's just something that you generate by the workings of your brain. I think consciousness is more embracing. Physicists, Einstein, Schrödinger, Pauli, Planck, they have come up with the same notion. Ultimately, you find this. The world is not a sphere of matter. It is a sphere of energy, but not just blunt, raw energy. The world is informed energy. information, as Master Sha was talking about, the information is the key. We are informed energy beings, as it were. The world is not material. The world is, if you like, spiritual. That's one way of interpreting it. But we can say in terms of physics that there is a deep dimension in the world, which in quantum physics is known as the implicate order. Here are the laws of nature. Here are all the rules, the dynamism, the drivers, as it were, the laws of evolution. And it informs this deep dimension, which is always there, which gives you the rule of the game, which gives you the way the universe can operate, can evolve. Because the universe is not a chance phenomenon. It's highly informed. By the way, we call here information with a hyphen, information. We form what there is by the information. This is not a physical factor as in a classical sense. It's a new physics factor. David Bohm came up with these notions also with the idea of information. And this information acts from the implicate and folded order. It acts on the unfolded order, which is the explicate order. And that's our world. That's our world that Plato saw as the shadows on the wall of the cave, in his famous allegory of the cave. But the light which is behind us is in the implicate order. The idea is thousands of years old. Now we know that it must be like that. We cannot explain the universe as it is purely by what's happening in that universe. That universe is a manifestation, is a projection of something which is immaterial, immortal. It has never been born, so it can never die. It is the deeper level of reality. So there we are. We are beings who are being informed constantly because we are part of this informed universe. And if we recognize this, then we won't go beyond what we are and attempt to distort the workings of nature. It's a pity that I may finish this. Those of you who can see this, follow this on video, you could see that behind me is a Chinese painting. I think I particularly wanted to have this one for Master Sha. It's a painting where the human being, the habitations of humans are within the womb of nature, within the lap of nature. Humanity is not outside and above. It's inside. We thrive when we are part of it. We decay when we separate ourselves. So these are just lessons from Master Sha, but also from Einstein, also from Buddha. The Tao is in the implicate order. We are in the explicate order. We have to follow the Tao. How to follow it? There are masters such as Master Sha who can show us the way.
Indeed. And okay, speaking of the Tao, I want to talk with you, Master Sha, about the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Dow Jones Indus, as in all of us, Industrial Average, and how to help it go up, way up, on behalf of investing in enriching humanity and by extension, other species. Your calligraphy healing is almost like an investment in the Dow Jones Industrial Average going up. Is there such a thing? Because I know that you do extraordinary individual calligraphy healing art. And you did an incredible interview, I think it was Bill Gladstone with David Meltzer, who is a real businessman. I mean, in the classic high octane, high energy, very financially successful sense. And yet he was so taken by your healing abilities through calligraphy that it's now become a relationship, a love relationship in his life, and it has exponentially expanded his own energy. Can you talk about that in terms of, we have the G20 leaders and the COP26 coming up and all these major leadership-oriented organizations that are still stuck in the old paradigm? Is it fear? Is it resistance? And is there a kind of calligraphy art that you could create for the G20 or the future COPs? What do you think?
Thank you. Okay, let me share a little story. You talk about the Bill. Bill is my book agent. He's a book agent for all the famous speakers, teachers, and also he introduced me to the Irvin Laszlo, and he brought me to the Italy. Irvin Laszlo gave us research guidance. So 10 years ago, he introduced me to the David Meltzer, which is sports one in Los Angeles, and Bill introduced my background. I asked David, I said, what can I serve you? David said, I want the money. The businessman opened the mouth, I do not want a spiritual enlightenment, I just want the money. You know what happened? I just hold a calligraphy paper. Okay, if this man wants money, okay, let me create a calligraphy. It's like this. This is not a formal brush, the idea is here.
Here is reason for our podcast listeners to tune in for the video.
Thank you. I wrote the Dao Ye Chang Sheng. Dao means the ultimate source. Ye means career. Chang Sheng means flourishing. You can see in a piece of paper, I write a calligraphy. And David asked me, how can I make more money? I said 10 minutes a day. You connect exactly why I really admire Irvin Laszlo's wisdom. Because this one cannot be seen. Dao calligraphy, called Dao means the source. The unproduced word, Lao Tzu, Dao, Fa Zhiran, Irvin Laszlo said we have to follow Dao. Dao is nature. Nature is Dao. So therefore, Dao cannot be seen, heard, touched, and the calligraphy is the art. So while writing calligraphy, I connect with the source. The source put the invisible love light, frequency, vibration, in the calligraphy, in the path, in the stroke. That David Meltzer every day, 10 minutes a day, just when he come to office, he just do like this. He said, I do not know how, I do not know why. His business about 1.5 million per year. 1.5 years later, business turned to 60 million, 60. Then within 10 years now, he said, I made 100 millions. He said, Master Sha, give me the blessing. One day he said, more than my mother, I'm so humble to say that. He said, my mother gave me birth, but Master Sha gave me more than the money I made, multi-million dollars, but I also got the awareness, wisdom. My family member, friends surprised how fast his knowledge, his wisdom. He said, I can see now I understand more. Master Sha said, this is the field. We have one of the top scientists here. Our beloved Einstein said, there's only one real thing. Is the field. Nothing real. And also in the Buddha teaching, more hard to believe. Buddha said everything we see is an illusion. What Irvin Laszlo said is a projection. We are in third dimension. Even scientists talk about higher dimension. So on a human being, everything we see, the river, the mountain, the Mother Earth, is a projection from higher dimension. Projectors there, boom, they give a projection. So therefore, Buddha says everything is illusion. In Beijing University, there's a famous physics professor. He loved Chinese Kung Fu, Tai Chi. He's interested in UFO, actual ordinary abilities, manifestation, all the issues. And he said, I studied physics after the highest university. Nothing answered my questions. Then he studied Tao Te Ching. He studied Buddha's teaching. Finally, heard the sutra. And the Diamond Sutra make him understand. Oh, I finally understand everything is illusion. And he's a major scientist, talking with 100,000 people, talk about illusion. He said, whole life, what we're doing, clear negative karma. People say, oh, I do not believe karma. But this major professor openly said, karma is a record of services, past life, many lifetimes. We have love, peace, harmony, generosity. We made a mistake like Irma. So we made mistakes harming others, country leaders, and important people. So therefore, we have record, a Akashic record. Irma taught a lot for the wisdom. So therefore, we carry life by life. Therefore, the information is the key. Information is a Akashic record, either positive, either negative. So therefore, our life, okay, whatever already happened before, now focus the current life. How can we give love, peace, harmony? Therefore, I receive a divine or heaven a song. I love my heart and soul. I love all humanity. Join the heart and the soul together. Love, peace, harmony. Love, peace, harmony. Let me sing for everybody one time. I'm also the singer, artist. Let me sing one more time. Everybody relax. Connect. Connect with heaven, earth, source, divine, Buddha, whatever saints, Jesus, Mary, whatever you believe, universe. I love my heart and soul. I love all humanity. Join heart and souls together. Love, peace, and harmony. Love, peace, and harmony. Thank you.
I think you both must give a performance. You must sing, Irvin must play the piano, or at least you must convey your musical healing energies, because it's just so uplifting. You both belong at every COP, at every G20 meeting, G7 meeting. You both belong everywhere, and in a sense you are. I want to ask both of you one last question. I mean, there's so many questions, but because you're both really masters in your own right. I know you're both very modest in that, title that I'm pointing you, but it really is the truth. People always ask both of you questions to understand life, to understand consciousness. Is there anything that each of you individually ever asks or wants to ask consciousness? A question that either of you ask yourselves quietly, personally, at any point in your life about all that is? Or, I mean, do you understand what I'm asking? Like Irvin or Master Sha? Who would like to start first?
Of course.
Just to humanize both of you.
Irvin first, of course, Irvin first.
Irvin, is there any question that you sometimes ask yourself or consciousness directly?
Alison, at the end, this month actually, October 2021, I published a book called My Journey, a kind of an autobiography. And the subtitle of that book is A Life in Quest of the Purpose of Life. So this answers your question. My life has been spent in quest of the purpose of life. That's the question I ask. What is the purpose of my life? What is the purpose of all life, the phenomenon of life? Deeper than that, you can go, what is the purpose of what there is of the universe? Not a haphazard, not a chance universe, something that evolves. Where does it evolve and why? These are questions that I've always been asking myself. I've written about them a good deal. I can't say that I found the answer. I don't think anybody has found the answer. But I have an inkling of which way to go, which way to seek. Certainly a directed, a purposeful universe in which consciousness is a purposeful element. We can seek it, we can find the least speculative answers that I've tried to come up with. Consciousness is very much to do with it. Consciousness is not here by random. It is here for a purpose. You can then put it together from the teachings of the Buddha, from Master Sha's teachings, from the Tao itself, and from Jesus Christ, all the great prophets. They showed us the way, why we are here. We are not here by mistake, we are not here purely by chance. So yes, that's what I've been asking myself. I tried to explain what I've come to so far in my various books. Also now in the book that I've been writing, we published together with Fred Zhao, on the way, the dawn of the new era.
Well, thank you for your answer, because this is, and I'm going to ask you also, Master Sha, in just one moment, what struck me so much about your answer, Irvin, is the inquiry, the sense of wonder and ongoing inquiry that you have, and the openness to continue that footpath and imagine some more than 70 books later, extraordinary answers that come through. Master Sha, what would you like to answer to that final question of today?
Yeah, I always honor Irvin Laszlo. So I also ask why I came here. I get very clear answers from the universe, from divine, from the source. Therefore, in all my book, the first paragraph and of all my book, the purpose of life is to serve. I have committed my life to this purpose. To serve is to make others happier and healthier. To serve is to empower and enlighten others. So, and just now also Irvin Laszlo mentioned, in the Buddha, Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching teaching, always I like to connect with them. And in the Diamond Sutra, in Buddha 释迦牟尼佛 teaching, 一切有为法. 一切有为法 means all things. Mother Earth, one planet, the solar system, Milky Way universes, all we can see, we know. 如梦幻泡影, just like a dream, illusion, bubble, the children get so poof, bubble, disappear. Bubble and also shadow, under the sun has a shadow. 如露也如电, just like a dew in the grass in the morning, and like lightning, thunder, lightning, quada, quada. Why Buddha have such deep insight? Many people believe him, many people not, because people have not realized. But why he said material is Kung? Kung is a material. It's the highest top point, because we see the chair, we sit on the chair, we are the body, and the Buddha said, no, this is illusion, this is emptiness. And the Buddha's wisdom is because the human being, the chair, the house, the Mother Earth, not the permanent. The lightning, guang, 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 disappear. It's very short. But the human life, 100 years, very long. Through the history, 100 years for what? Nothing. Just like this, one life. And also the shooting star, from solid become air form. But they are billions years. Billions years compared with history is also like one second. So therefore Buddha said that this is an illusion. This is just temporarily. Therefore he said human is Kung. But the human issue is too much attachment. Attachment for what? Money, power, and there's me, self-centered. This is me. Therefore, Buddha teaching material is Kung. All the feeling, oh, I feel good, I feel love, I feel upset, all the feeling, all the thinking, we just talk about the human's mind, all the feeling, all the thinking, all the action. Buddha said that this is all emptiness. It's a little high for some people, maybe because that's why millions of people believe him, many people do not believe him. But I said that do not misunderstand the Buddha teaching. We are the human being, everybody we come here, we have the purpose because we have to serve the humanity. We have to realize, remove the self-attachment, me. The purpose of life is to serve others. That's my insight.
Well, I think that is a beautiful note to conclude today's very stimulating conversation on the note of serving, that we all remember to serve one another, to serve the planet which we are a part of, to even serve that inner light, that inner love story that we're trying to kindle, the consciousness and the essence of who we are. I want to thank both of you immensely, as well as Fred Tsao, and to say once again to everybody, I am Alison Goldwyn with our hosts Irvin Laszlo and Fred Tsao, and today's very special guest, Dr. and Master Sha, inviting you to join us for many more episodes to come for Dawn of an Era of Well-Being, and to please remember that when building a new paradigm for humankind, let's try to include human kindness. Stay tuned and stay attuned.
And now, to conclude our program, here are some thoughts from our co-host, Fred Tsao.
One of the things about the new era is everything is energy. And it's deal with transformation of energy with consciousness. And consciousness is creating the era. And as we created the era, energy actually expresses itself. When we are unable to deal with the change in our connective capability, or what we call neuroplasticity, then we view it as chaos. But if our mind is capable to handle that, understand and deal with it, and the neuroplasticity actually grows with it, it's called progress. It's called awakening. It's called creativity, and many, many words. One of the things that we have to understand is in this era, the energy has changed. The Mayan calendar has moved, the equinox have moved, the earth energy is increasing. And so some people will respond to the energy and awaken to the new era. They will see things differently, they would change. And this kind of information flow comes into a connection in many state of mind, but in particularly when you're quiet and you're still. In stillness, you get connected to go inward, and you go inward, you start connecting through a different layer of energy structure from the physical structure, your emotional structure, your mental structure, and your really the soul structure, your original individuated consciousness, which is then linked up to the collective consciousness and then to the net, to the energy field. So as you go still, you go move into this layer of body, which we are not informed because we don't are aware of our physical form. But you will be aware of your various form if you practice a stillness and a journey inward. So as you move journey, your consciousness will get exposed to a deeper level of consciousness of your existence. And when you go deep enough, then you get good Wi-Fi and you listen closely and you get the message, which we call the intuition. Now, at times the energy of the earth is changing, and if you're in sync with the energy of the earth, you will start having a shift in consciousness. Because at least twice a day, as we fall asleep or as we coming out of sleep, we're in a meditative state, floating, drifting downward. But we just quickly fall into a sleep state, but sometimes we're in that state and you utilize it, you might get some message. And then it starts percolating in your dreams and you start having. But for me, I changed because I came into contact with meditation. I didn't know what meditation can do. I just feel meditation feels great. And then thereafter, I get intuitions. So in a chaotic world, it's because our connective wiring of our neural wiring is not have enough neuroplasticity to accept deal, and mostly because we have belief systems that actually frame us. So as we're dealing with this chaotic world, it's the best chance for us to expand the possibility and grow and develop neuroplasticity to cope with the change, to understand change. You change the way you look at change, and then all of a sudden it's not chaotic at all. But when you start understanding the law of the energy and everything's moving that way, then you will not feel chaotic at all. When you see the risk, you also see the opportunity. Actually, it's the same thing. It's just possibilities. When there's change, there's possibility. When there's no change, there's no possibility. And thank God, change is the constant. So infinite possibilities.
Thank you for joining us. Dawn of an Era of Wellbeing is a co-production of the Laszlo Institute, ITEA Institute, and Select Books. It's produced by Nora Cesar and Kenichi Sugihara, with theme music Chimera by Biba DuPont. The book, Dawn of an Era of Wellbeing, co-authored by Irvin Laszlo and Frederick Saul, is available wherever books or ebooks are sold. Please subscribe to Dawn of an Era of Wellbeing, the podcast, on Apple or Spotify for more fascinating guests and discussion. My name is Allison Goldwyn, founder and creative director of Synchronistery.com, a future party for the planet broadcast live worldwide. Wishing you well-being till we talk again next week.